Yes, we all ready and set to go for our third part of our session, and we should get our next speaker up, who's a good friend of mine. Her name is Aruna Sharma. She is from LinkedIn. She is the head of enterprise sales, LinkedIn Sales Solution. She is a very big. Uh, Hi, Aruna is here.
Yes,
Hi,
yes.
Aruna. So
Hi.
nice to see you. Okay, she's a very big travel freak and she loves going to the hills. She believes that the Himalayas are living and spiritual beings and house some amazing evolved souls. She prefers animals to humans, villages to cities, and spirituality to dogmatic religion. Welcome, Aruna, on the Grand 50 celebration of Linkprana Stories.
Thank you. Good to see you both. Hi, Kushbu. Seeing you for the first time. What an amazing, energetic session. I was glued. Lovely show, guys. Lovely. Awesome to be here.
Wow, Aruna, thank you so much for coming and joining us on Linkprana Stories. And I love the energy and the smile you have. I have to tell, indeed, I mean, Anil have been talking so highly about you and knowing a little more, which is you love spirituality and villages and animals above others. I think I'm intrigued to find out more. But let's jump into our big topic of the day, Aruna. Aruna, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Okay, awesome, Aruna. And indeed, you have been part of the large organizations across your career, today being associated with LinkedIn, of course. But at the same time, your passion has been to drive growth to the business. Being a sales leader, I don't see it's possible unless you understand who you are talking to, people coming, what are their pain points, and how you can negotiate. Because sales for me is the best negotiation done right. Let's just call it. So let's hear it from you. The consumer behavior shift in 2020, which will impact our coming year. And what do you think as a sales leader will play an integral role for the business growth when we are looking at these shifts?
Sure. Thanks, Kushbu. Number one thing for 21, and especially for sales, is to take off your sales hat. Consumer is at the heart of it all. Look at it from it's customer first, it's buyer first, it's not me selling. So take that hat off. It's not going to work, right? So and first, right in the beginning, I do want to say this, that consumer behavior is in a state of flux. So when we talk about trends, we talk about what's going to happen in 21. Honestly, COVID has taught us that everything except change is in a flux. Nothing is ever permanent, right? So be ready for those trends to be myths. But I will share with you some of the trends I think could be showing up in 21. And if I look at it from the sales perspective, number one thing is agility. So what COVID has brought home to all of us is the fact that maybe COVID-19 is not the end of it. Vaccine probably means very little, right? Hopefully I'm wrong, right? So it has changed the landscape. All the organizations, all of us have been used to innovations and all, taking a little bit of time, 1 year or 1 month, to bring those strategies in. What COVID has taught us, and is going to be the case in the future, is that these innovations have to be turned overnight. You have to pivot your strategy. You have to pivot the way you go to market, the way you sell. All of that has been disrupted, has been challenged, and that is going to be the way forward. So I think agility is number one thing, not just for sales, for everything else. Be agile, because times are going to change. And suddenly you have your plan in place, and without a plan, you can never work, be it sales or anything else. But that plan be ready for it to be challenged, right? So number one thing for me is to stay agile, right? And what's at the heart of that really is, how can you be intelligently agile, is if you're basing everything on data. Data is the key. Well, it's going to power every decision of yours, be it sales, be it HR, be it any kind of finance, comms, whatever the case may be. Everything will have to be powered by data. right? And insights around data.
And since you mentioned about data, and when it comes, data is always correlated with marketing more than sales. It's a default mindset. I don't know. I've seen this more often, that sales guys are more like, okay, cold calling, this is the lead, dream list, and they'll go. Probably these are the traditional methods that people have been still following, and we would like to encourage them to go towards the modern techniques for sure. But I would love to hear, what are your data points as a sales leader? What data points do you look at, which is of course related to the consumer at the end of the day, but what are those?
So, when number one thing is to understand your customer, Khushbu. That's the key. So get yourself out of the picture. You are nothing in this frame of thing today. Customer is the one who needs, it's become like B2B sales is also become like B2C, right? It's a time of hyper personalization to understand not just the what, but also the why of the customer, right? What's he thinking? And I disagree with the fact that, sales is transactional. It has never been that way. If you want to be a sales guy to be counted, it has to be very, very research driven, right? You have to be a partner. I hate the fact that a lot of us just go to sell, right? So if you're a partner, you have to drive by insights. You have to be able to analyze your data. What is the customer doing? What do they want to do in the future? What are their current challenges? And how are they trying to tackle those current challenges? And what's coming in the way of those current challenges? And then how can you put your solution there and solve those challenges, okay, and the roadblocks? But if you cannot, get out of the way. Don't sell. Because your relationship does not end here, Khushbu, right? I mean, look at Anil. Anil was a customer of mine, right? Twice, okay? And we become good friends. What is the reason? I bought Anil's trust. He knew that obviously I'm a salesperson. I want to hit a quota, right? But I'm not driving by that. We had conversations with Anil when I think we signed about 8 months after our first conversation. And that too, we signed really a small deal. But after that, we kept getting more business from him. Why did that happen? He trusted me. He believed me and my team that I understood what he wanted, and I drove that conversation. So, right. And there's enough insights. And, this is a world of too much data. You must also understand how to filter that data, which makes sense to your customer. So customer is God. We've always said customer is king, customer is emperor, but that is even more true in today's world. Don't try to sell. So I don't agree that, we've been transactional sales guys. Those are credit card sales guys. They're sales guys who will sell. Even aloo and pyaz in today's world has to be sold in a different way, right? If you want to do it right.
All our audiences are tuning from other part of the world. She means potatoes and onions.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just keep falling back into, these conversations. I'm so sorry about it.
We love a little bit of tinge and taste of Indianness. We come from, that's our brand as well. And I'm sure people love it too. Indeed. Aruna, you have more points to add for consumer behaviors, because I've got a question. Because
go ahead with your question. Maybe we'll take it like that.
Okay, awesome, Aruna. So indeed, you mentioned first thing, which was the first thing the sales leader or a sales guy should do, put up the sales hat. And that is a closing statement, that is it. As soon as they do that, it's going to matter a lot. But do you think as organizations, now this can be a bit of a, maybe there's a difference of opinion as well, but I've always believed that now there is no more a time where it's going to be sales leaders or marketing leaders, but what if we make them feel that they are growth leaders? Will that help the people who come from those departments or those groups to not feel that they are selling something, but they're instead growing something, they're empowering something? I've always believed that change of this strong terminologies also made changes in the mindset of not only the person who is pitching, but also the person who is receiving it. Because at the end of the day, when you give a name card, you see the word and it hits. What's your take on this?
Yeah. So, Khushbu, if I've understood your question correctly, like I said earlier, trust is the basis of anything. And that comes from the fact that you understand your customer. If you don't understand your customer, then you're wasting your time. So really, we have to be seen as someone who contributes to growth, right? And your customer has to be able to see that. And how will that happen? That'll happen if you bring in, I keep going back to the fact that if you do not study and give insights to the customer that he probably has little access to or does not know, bring to the table something that he does not have, right? He will have a view on his business and stuff like that, but the market he won't know, right? He won't know some of the, maybe the success stories and the failure stories that have happened in the market. What is the uniqueness you're bringing to your customer? Which is like, he feels like, even if I go on a flight today, all of us fly first class or whatever the case may be, I don't feel great about it unless I'm made, something special is made for me, right? Say, okay, Aruna, we know this is your taste, and therefore I am making a pasta which I know you like because he studied a little bit about me, right? So bring that uniqueness into it, right? So, these are some of the things customers look for. The minute you give them that I understand your business and this is where you could fail, this is what are blind spots even now for you. Challenge them. It's not that your customer cannot tell you that he knows it all. He will value a person who comes across as a specialist, who comes in and tells the customer, look, you're wrong. I would challenge you on this because of these reasons. And those reasons are always data points. There's always insights. There's always something more than the customer has heard. So you do have to come in as somebody, you have to be the most intelligent person in the room, right? And you have to care. And Anil mentioned in my introduction, I love spirituality and stuff like that. I think COVID has brought that so much to the fore, even in business. We're all connected. The minute you start talking his language and do it authentically, one is to say, okay, I love what you're wearing. You look so sweet. You look so great. And the other is like, I know this is your pain point. And you give him validation of that. You know why this is his pain point, not just the what of it and the why. That's where I think spirituality is creeping into even our businesses of sales. You do it because you don't want to do him good. And when you do him good, good will come to you. That's auto. That's one thing about this universe.
I think that is something that Anil has preached a lot. And always I see him saying that, Kush, I am going to help him and it's okay. I just want to do it because it matters. And indeed, I think that inspired us to even get started with Linktrona Stories, to get started with Killing It on LinkedIn. But I loved your perspective to even bring pasta in the conversation. Before we wrap up, I know the 10 minutes there, but I have to tell you, Aruna, that going to the down where you even get connected over food items or over beyond what you are talking as a product that's where the real sale, real consumer understanding happen. And I'm glad you really brought this to the table, and for all our audiences to understand that, guys, please don't go out and sell, because it's all about building relationship first. And 8 months is what Aruna and Anil took. So take a note, guys, there.